102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:35. And Aerosmith with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102. Man, it's going to seem like a cool winter's day today. Sunny and partly cloudy with high of only 96.
I turned the heat on this morning.
I thought about starting a fire.
Yeah.
To make s'mores.
Yeah. Well, it's a s'mores kind of day.
It sure is, boy. I'll tell you what. And then tomorrow, cloudy with a high of only 74. So if you think today it breaks, tomorrow it really breaks.
All right.
Anyway, there's lots to do today. Lots to talk about, I'm sure.
Oh, we got plenty to talk about.
Don't you worry about nothing. Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
Call or text us anytime.
Listening to the Bax and NAGLE show when it's live can be a real drag.
Imagine how we feel. You're in the car, you're 20 minutes from work, you don't have time to listen to everything on the show, you're way too busy, and you're in the middle of stuff.
If there was only a way for you, the dedicated Bax and NAGLE listener, to enjoy the show when you're ready for it.
Imagine if that sort of technology existed.
And imagine if it were free.
Talk to me, Goose.
Well, great news. Every Bax and NAGLE show is on demand at your fingertips 24 hours a day.
And it won't cost you nothing.
You can listen to the show whenever you damn well feel like it at your convenience.
All you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Rock102.com, and the Rock 102 mobile app. It's easy.
And tell everybody what it costs.
It's free.
The Bax and NAGLE On Demand Podcast, brought to you by Curry Honda, Memorial Drive in Chicopee. Experience the best at Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:49 in Rat with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
It is going to be sunny and hot today. Not as hot as yesterday, but still 95. And the heat advisory still remains in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. It is, tomorrow? Cool. 71.
Might have to wear a jacket.
We go from this 104 heat index to 71 and beautiful day. I don't know.
I'll take it. It's perfectly fine with me.
73 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez are throwing themselves a multi-day wedding celebration in Venice this week, and it hasn't been going over so well with the locals. A group called No Space for Bezos has been protesting hard, and they even forced a change in venue for a big day after party he's hosting on Saturday. But Jeff and Lauren are trying to make good with the people. Their wedding invitation says they want no gifts. Gee, what do you get? They're one of the richest men in the world.
An Amazon gift card.
That would be perfect. $25, though.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah.
If they did accept gifts and everything that people bought was like directly from Amazon?
No, see, I would go the opposite route and get him something that he doesn't own. Like a Target gift card.
I was going to say, what doesn't he own or can't afford?
You don't think Jeff Bezos could use a Live, Laugh, Love sign in one of his 18 mansions that he's got?
I don't know. He's already got that one where it says, it's wine o'clock.
It's wine o'clock somewhere. And instead, the couple will make donations to local charities in their guest's honor.
That's delightful.
Why don't... Yeah, just do that. I don't know. As for celebrity guests... Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner and their kids have already arrived in Venice. Orlando Bloom is also expected, minus Katy Perry, and TMZ says he's showing up single. The entire event will cost between $10 and $20 million.
Oh, my God.
It's like, it's your second marriage, dude. Like,
all right, but he's worth nearly $1 trillion. I mean, what else is he going to spend his money on?
So then take the $20 million and donate it all to charity. You already have... many ways to go and enjoy yourself.
Is this her first marriage?
Probably.
You know how every young girl dreams of that little princess wedding with buttercups and rainbows and unicorns.
And the richest men in the world.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's the prince she got.
Well, good luck to her. Bachelor in Paradise returns July 7th, and it includes both Golden contestants and their younger counterparts. But here's the kicker. The Goldens are the real horn dogs. How about that?
I'll be damned.
Host Jesse Palmer says, it's actually the Goldens who I think infuse the most energy in the show. They bring it every single day. Like the parties at the pool in Paradise, it was all Goldens turning up. They turned up every day, like the makeout sessions in the pool and the body shots. It was the Goldens. I'm telling you, just watch. It was unbelievable. You want to see old people making out in a pool?
That's hot.
Is it?
No, the water's hot. It has nothing to do with
Well, they got to keep... They get too cold at night. Another thing about the Goldens is they don't care what anybody thinks of them. They're not using this. They're not trying to be influencers after the show's over. Like, they've lived their life. They've done their thing. And, they're just trying to have fun. And they were super excited. Yeah, but think of all the diseases they're passing around to each other. I guess they don't care.
Apparently there's quite a lot of that in the senior communities.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out with a burn.
I suppose when someone threatens you with like one more disease you'll have for the rest of your life, you're not scaring anybody.
Probably not.
No, herpes. I'll have that for the rest of for the next 5 years of my life.
My short life. America's Got Talent is currently in its 20th season, and if you happen to get on the show, you must be okay with being publicly ridiculed. No, it's really a rule. Can you imagine that?
Really?
The contract that contestants sign includes a stipulation that, quote, their appearance, depiction, and portrayal may be disparaging, defamatory, embarrassing, or of an otherwise unfavorable nature. Yeah, because you know what they need? They did that. I did that Last Comic Standing show about 20 years ago.
Right.
Went and sat and waited in line, only to find out that this was insignificant. Because all the people that got hired for that show already had agents and didn't have to wait in line like everybody else did. But they were using that footage as like be-real bad footage. So I know a friend of mine who actually got on the show. He didn't get to be a contestant, but they showed his portion of it as an example of how bad things can get. So the joke was, he was the guy we knew that was on Last Comic Standing. But I bet you people get upset when they get used for.
Oh, I'm sure, but don't they all sign like waivers and stuff like that?
That's what this thing is saying. It's saying that you can't, you got to be okay with disparaging, defamatory, embarrassing, or of an otherwise unfavorable nature. Singers aren't always in charge of the songs they perform. They work with producers to choose which song showcases their vocals. Plus, they have to follow legal licensing rules. When contestants make it to the live shows, they work with the show's wardrobe department for performance outfits. The use of props or animals have to be approved by the producers beforehand for safety reasons. Every contestant goes through a 90-second open call audition first before being selected by producers to audition in front of the judges.
See, now, like to me, like when American Idol was a thing that people actually gave a rat's ass about, the best part were the auditions that were horrible. Like the first couple of episodes per season, where people were just embarrassing themselves, like it was.
Well, we would have never had William Hung. She bangs, if that wasn't.
And you can imagine a world in which we had never had that opportunity to experience William Hung,
or the pants on the ground guy. Pants on the ground.
Pants on the ground.
Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground.
See, that's. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, but
if I not had that in my life.
But some people are just, they just get upset, I guess.
I guess.
Let's see what Kim Kardashian is up to today. Do you want to?
Yes.
Kim Kardashian was seen leaving a hot yoga class in Malibu, drenched in sweat and barely able to keep her balance in her 6-inch heels.
Really? Well, she must have had something to say.
Oh my God, the last time I got that slippery and couldn't walk straight was when Ray J deep sea dove into my squish grotto and came up with pearls in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Squish grotto.
Squish grotto.
That might be a new one.
Did you ever have a squish grotto?
I don't know if I would.
We're trying to make new things.
Yeah, that's good. Caitlin?
I never got that done and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but we once played Guess That Smell Under a Heated Blanket. Let's just say the scent was musk meets regret, and I went in nose first like a truffle pig on bath salts.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is she opened her fondue hatch, and I dipped the old breadstick in until it got soggy. You know, Bax, like they say, it's not about how deep you stretch. It's about who hears you pop. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk today. And it's your Caitlin TED Talk. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 6:11 and Sticks with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
It is going to be warm again today, but not as hot as it was the last 2 days. There still is a heat advisory in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. Sunny and a high of 95 today. Tomorrow, it's like a fall day. Sunny and a high of 71. It's 73 right now in downtown Springfield.
I'll have to put out my winter coat.
Yeah. A low of 60.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. And then we're back into the 80s next week, though, so there you go.
You know, you didn't get around to this during a Hollywood Trash, and I can understand why this might slip through your fingers, because it's, probably a little before your time, but the legendary Bobby Sherman died yesterday.
Oh, God.
Easy come,
Easy
go. Anyway, he was in his 80s.
You don't know the lyrics?
81. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
May think that I was number one. I ought to know. Easy come, easy go.
Spinning down, spinning the dial. Oh, that's right. Okay. Anyway, I wasn't. Bobby Sherman wasn't really my teen idol. I was much more of a Donny Osmond fan. But until Donny passes through life's tender mortal coil, I guess I'll be celebrating Bobby Sherman's body of work.
Well, it sounds like he lived a good long life.
Yeah. Hey, listen, he had died of cancer. It gets them all, doesn't it? Anyway, Bobby Sherman dead at the age of 81.
It gets them all, doesn't it? That's a great outlook on life.
It's not. It's I realize
cancer. It gets them all. Eventually, it'll get you.
All right, maybe it's a little insensitive, perhaps, but
are you old enough to start calling it the cancer?
He's kind of like
he's
calling
the cancer.
It's kind of like saying he's got the diabetes because he's got the sugar.
Yeah,
he's got the sugar.
I haven't heard you say he's on the TikToks and the Facebooks. How many days you got until you retire?
Let me see here. About 2,272.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like get to a point, you don't know yet because you're not there yet, but can you foresee a point going before you even get to that retirement date going, maybe I should just throw in the towel? Like, do you need to get to that thing? Maybe?
I mean, are you asking me do I foresee a point where I feel like I've already been here too long?
Well, listen,
because that happened about like 15 years ago.
Okay, well, that's a completely different reason, though. But this, I always think about this career going, like, this isn't going to last forever. Like, there's going to be a point where, it starts to happen sometimes, too, when I don't understand some of these, like, pop culture people. Mm-hmm. I don't know who their names are. Like,
right.
The older you get, the more removed you get from what's popular. And you never think that's going to happen to you. Like, you never think that, oh, no, I'm always on the up and up. And then all of a sudden you go out of your 30s and you're into your 40s and you're like, wow, that's starting to happen to me.
I don't know if it's easy to identify when you've overstayed your welcome.
Yeah.
If you're welcomed every day of your life until that one day when people say, right, enough.
Yeah, but a lot of that usually it's like a gaslighting experience where, well, he's old. He's been here the longest.
Yeah.
And let's just let him ride it out until the bitter end. When really, it should end now.
Well, I hope, Steve, that at some point you get to the point where you have only 2,272 days. And then at that point, you'll say, man, I could do this forever, but just choose not to.
I don't have a retirement date. I don't.
Well, you got to get the app that counts down.
I'm not doing that.
Oh, you got to.
I don't even know what I want to do when I grow up.
Steve, I remember when I was over 3,000 days left to go, and I thought, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna get out of this." And now, as every day passes by, it just gives me a glimmer of quick flash of hope.
Now you're in that Cal Ripken number.
Yes.
How many days can you get? Can you make it consecutive days until the end? Well, the reason why I'm bringing it up because it's been almost 50 years since Kenny Rogers saying you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. But unfortunately, that doesn't sink in with everybody. Fans are arguing AC/DC, or they're urging them to fold them after footage of them looking pretty old and tired during a recent show went viral. The video shows them performing TNT, and at points the crowd seems louder than Brian Johnson's voice. Maybe the mic just needs to be turned up. And Angus Young just looks terrible. One fan said, quote, "This is so painful, they just need to stop." And another commented, quote, "Gotta say, Angus Young is really pulling the load on this tour." That means two things.
Right.
"They'll always be my favorite band by far, but I'm sitting out this tour." Other fans kept it real and said, quote, "It's an old band. Of course they're not going to be the same. Y'all don't have to say for them to stop doing what they like." And another added, quote, "Let them do what they want. I'll still go watch them and to say I've seen them one final time." Keep in mind, Brian is 77 and Angus is 70. A young 70.
A young 70.
Yeah.
Still wearing the little schoolboy outfit with the shorts.
Turn the audio on so you can just hear this just a little bit.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Angus can't dance around like he used to.
No, probably break a hip. But on the other hand, I've always kind of wondered, the way Brian Johnson sings,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he lasted more than 6 months. Because he's screaming and has been since Back in Black.
Yeah, I don't have
I would
a
think your
problem.
throat would just like fall right out of your face.
I don't have a problem with people wanting to, continue to perform music. You know what? It's just, it's kind of like the evolution of life. You're watching the evolution of a career, and they were good at their peak. They're not so as good as they were 30 years ago, but it's still part of the evolution of a career. However, I don't think ticket prices should reflect 30-year-ago prices, performance-based 30-year-ago prices.
Yeah.
Because you're talking like, these people are charging $200 a ticket to go sit up front to see a bunch of old guys. You could go down to the Wingate over in Wilbraham and probably see some guy who looks like Angus Young and looks like Brian Johnson and pretend like they're singing AC/DC. Right. You just do a karaoke night. I know plenty of these karaoke DJs that go over there and do shows.
Yeah, well, hey, sure, it's a great way to make a living. But on the other hand, it's all these guys really know how to do. It's like some guys just don't want to stop working because it's. There's got to be some pleasure out of it. I mean, but that's money for rock stars ain't exactly what it used to be.
No, but I mean, do you have the balls to charge? Do you have big balls? They've got, I don't know, their balls probably not being as big anymore.
They're probably
You have prune balls. I have prune balls.
I've stepped on my balls on the floor.
Yeah. They're dragging across the floor of the stage now.
Oh no, they fell into the toilet again.
Who's got tea bags? We've got tea bags. Yeah, I'm not putting them down because they're performing.
No.
But you clearly aren't delivering the same performance that you would have, 30 years ago.
Have you noticed? I'm sure you must have, because we've talked about these kinds of things before, where a musician or a band will say, all right, that's it. I'm retiring. Mm-hmm. And they go on their final tour. And that tour, gets extended for 2 or 3 years, like Kiss did. It's like the longest goodbye tour of all time. And they finally do Hang It Up. Now, they were still Kiss. They still did what Kiss does. Breathing fire and spitting out blood. And then the show came.
Yeah.
And then and that was that. Look at the Who. It's just the two of them. They just fired, Ringo Starr's son twice. They're barely hanging on. It's like, how do you tell a guy who's doing a kid's job it's time to hang it up?
But are they doing a decent performance?
I don't think they're doing the kind of performance you can justify a $500 ticket for. But if you're a fan, you'll do it because you'll say, I may never get this chance to see him again.
Do you remember when Motley Crue did Fenway Park a couple of years ago?
Right.
And everybody was paying $800 for a ticket to go see Tommy Lee. It's Tommy Lee, right?
Yes.
I keep getting Tommy Lee Jones and Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Jones might actually be more interesting to see on stage.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at.
Right.
Like, there are other alternatives that you could do. But Tommy Lee, they were saying that he did all of the drum stuff to backtracks. Like he wasn't actually playing the drums.
Yeah.
Well, why? But why would you pay $800 to go see that?
Because
he's not as good as he was 40 years ago.
Listen, drumming is like an athletic exercise.
Yeah.
At some point, your body doesn't necessarily stay at that same level. Considering how he has abused his body over the last 40 years, you can see, well, maybe some of the edge has been knocked off his talent or his ability to drum.
And I'm in full understanding of that. But does that justify you being able to charge $800 for a ticket when you're not even playing the same performance that you were 40 years ago? You think the price would go down?
Yeah, but he's not. But they're not always in charge of the ticket price. In fact, most of the time they're not in charge of it at all. It's it's another layer of the cake.
Yeah,
that's picking out the ticket price. Plus, you got the secondary market, which jacks up the price anyway. But what are your expectations to watch a band that's in their 60s and 70s or 80s?
Somebody just mentioned Mick Jagger. But he still dances around on stage like he's 30 years old.
So years ago, we went as a staff to go see the Rolling Stones in Hartford. I don't know if you were here with us with that.
Oh no, we
before
didn't. We never did fun things as employees. But go ahead.
All right, so they were like in their 60s, moving into 70s at that point. And I thought, how good is this going to be? They're getting a little long in the tooth. Half the band is no longer playing with the band.
Right.
I mean, Charlie was barely holding on at that point. Brian Jones been dead for years. Bill Wyman walked away from it all.
Keith Richards was dead for years.
Yeah, he had all his blood replaced with fresh blood. He snorted his dad's ashes. I mean, everything. He's done everything that should normally kill a human being. They were freaking great.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
They were
If you
great.
put on a good performance, I can see justifying the price for a show. But when you got two old guys like, Angus Young and Brian Johnson coming out going, all right, who wants to hear Big Balls?
We're gonna change the lyrics to Big Prostate. I've got a big prostate.
Now watch out for this next hit. It might blow your fingers off. It's called TNT. Now remember, kids, 4th of July is coming. Remember your fireworks safety. And then they go into like a big TED talk about how fireworks can kill you.
It's 624 on Rock 102. Are you 627 with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102?
Liam Neeson has the full forecast for you.
Don't forget, this week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is Brian Sweet, the author of the biography Steely Dan, Reelin' in the Years. This is a book that's been out for quite a while. It's finally coming out on paperback in August, and Brian was kind enough to pay a little bit of time away to talk about it. We had a little problem with the link yesterday and Monday, but it's all back and working and operational. So you can find it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, the Rock 102 app. It's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rabbit Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
I thought the book would have been called Dirty Work. That would have been a better name for the book.
Reelin' in the Years, though. That's I mean, there was like a radio show called that for years. I mean, it's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go the other way. Dirty Work.
Yeah, that would be right.
Yeah, maybe they should be hanging that up.
Well, I mean, Donald Fagen is still playing.
Yeah,
he's the only guy standing. Yeah, he's the only
And
guy.
how's he performing? How's his performance?
Yeah, he's a little shy, but let's bring the best musicians in the world with you. You can do anything.
Yeah, I told you 10 years ago I saw Peter Wolf down in Connecticut, down at that Infinity Theater in I can't remember the name of the town, like Winstead, Connecticut, or something like that, or it was somewhere out there.
Right.
And
Wallingford?
No, it's the northwest part of Connecticut.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was jumping around on stage like he was like 30 years old again.
Sure.
But he was 70. I wonder what he's like now.
He's probably wheeling from one end of the stage to the other.
Because time catches up with you very quickly.
You don't have to tell me.
Are you ready to laugh?
I'm ready to laugh.
All right, let's laugh.
It's Bax and NAGLE's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
I can't do that one. Oh, where does the devil buy his steaks?
I don't know, Steve. Where does the devil buy his steaks?
In the deli of the beast.
the deli of the beast.
Yeah, see? I wish I could tell you the one I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're FCC regulated.
I hate that.
It's
Oh, wait. I got
The wrong one.
Bax and NAGLE in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Here's your Western Mass news for
6:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Where is the... oh, there. I just got to get my tabs in order.
Who's drinking tabs these days?
I don't know. I miss a good tab.
It's had an aftertaste. That aspartame aftertaste never really lasts. I mean, I know you're a big sweet and low guy.
Oh, yeah.
You like the saccharin.
This tastes like aspartame.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have aspartame in your mouth?
I think it's personal, don't you, Steve?
Have you ever gone from aspartame to mouth?
Sometimes I'll have a soda with some aspartame while I'm tossing a salad.
I'm trying to do a serious story here, and I don't know if I can do that now.
Did I ruin it?
No, I think we both ruined it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me.
All right, let's get serious, and
All
then
right.
we can go back to talking like idiots.
Yes.
Okay?
Go on.
The pedestrian killed in a hit-and-run crash on Monday in Springfield has been identified. According to Ryan Walsh, officers were called to the 100 block of Bowles Street for a report of a single-vehicle crash involving a pedestrian. The victim, an adult woman, was brought to Bay State Medical Center to be treated for her injuries. She died while at the hospital. On Tuesday, Walsh stated that the vehicle involved was found in the Forest Park neighborhood. However, no arrests have been made at this time. The Hamden DA's office shared on Tuesday that the victim has been identified as 57-year-old Annabelle Ruffino of Springfield. Hamden DA Gallooni offers his condolences to Miss Ruffino's loved ones. Springfield police are emphasizing the importance of being cautious while driving and walking near busy roads. We just want to remind all of our drivers to watch, to get off your phones, to pay attention, obey all the rules of the road, and for our pedestrians, in any case, to make sure when you are crossing the street, whether it's on bicycle or foot, to make sure you have the right of way and there's no vehicles or cars coming. The crash is being investigated by the Springfield Police Department Traffic Unit in conjunction with the Hamden DA's Office of Motor Vehicle Homicide Unit. But yes, you should be paying attention to what you're driving, but this seems like a stolen car issue.
Yeah.
Like somebody was driving around in a stolen car. So,
Terrible story.
very terrible story. An officer for the Montague Police Department was arrested, according to the chief. So, they have
Half the police force.
Yeah, I was
is
going to
gone.
say they have no police. They have police officers.
There's the chief and the other guy.
Now, 22 News contacted Montague Police Chief Christopher Williams and the spokesperson for the Northwestern DA's office after reports of an officer being arrested. Chief Williams told 22 News they are aware of the incident involving Officer Shauna Williams and are handling it as a personal matter. Chief Williams did not provide any other information at this time. 22 News has not heard back from the DA's office and will update the story when new details are released. That doesn't even sound like you can't even give it like a little cookie, like a little dog cookie going.
Come on, throw us a bone.
Throw us something. You don't. I want to know what happened.
This had happened in Springfield.
Oh, we know about it 10 days ago.
Yeah, we would have known about it, and we would have had some inkling of what just happened.
I want to know.
Does the Montague Police Department not have their own version of Orion Walsh?
I guess not. I guess they don't have, there's no police spokesperson. The spokesperson is the chief, who's also probably the DPW director, who's also probably the town constable, much like in my town.
Yes.
There's that one guy who does everything.
Well, that's good. Let's hope we get some information. That'd be very helpful for all of us.
The Board of Commissioners of the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission recently announced a new infrastructure renewal charge. The updated budget proposal means an additional $11.50 per month for 94% of customers. The infrastructure renewal charges, or ERS, right?
ERS?
IRSs.
Oh, yes, right.
Are collected to fund maintenance and construction repairs. For the Water and Sewer Commission, the charge is intended to support debt service obligations, including the availability of loan programs, water consumption, and rapid changes in the cost of health insurance. The majority of accounts have less than 1 inch in meter size. Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Everyone says it's at least 2 or 3.
So that's who's being impacted. If you have a large meter, especially expect a larger monthly ERS. There are financial assistance programs available for possible discount for those who are seniors, disabled, or disabled veterans. The Springfield Water and Sewer Commission declined an interview, but communications manager Jamie Bartak said in a statement, in alignment with the company's media statement, in part, she states, water is essential to daily life, and the new ERS directly supports necessary reinvestment into the local infrastructure that provides it. We encourage customers to call or email us if they have any questions about how the charge will be applied to their accounts and why it's needed. You know, it sucks that you got to pay more for another utility. But then when you think about it, remember how like these water mains break?
Yeah.
And then you find out that this pipe was planted in 1899. Like, you know, the infrastructure is old, and they don't replace it usually until it's broken.
Steve, for the last 30 years or more, for as long as I've been here, there have been stories about how the water infrastructure in Springfield, at least, needs to be completely overhauled. Mm-hmm. And you know what they've done? Every year, they go back to the table and say, we need to do something about this water infrastructure. Let's table this for next year's budget. 30 years later, you've got all these water pipes made from, like, terracotta. You know, it smashes like a flower pot every time something is going on. Yeah. Too much pressure or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then what happens is we all sit here and say, do you realize that the infrastructure for water in this area is over 150 years old?
Yeah.
What?
Well, because it's so expensive to replace.
It would cost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars
to replace the entire thing.
Yes.
So they just do it when it breaks.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with when that happens, we use only the finest materials. Probably bought it at Rocky's Ace Hardware or a plumber supply house. I believe there's zip ties and Velcro straps and rope that holds it all together.
Oh, well, that's
for the next water main break, which will happen soon enough.
Shh. Don't jinx it. It could happen today. Or actually, when the temperature drops to 40 degrees tomorrow.
That's when the pipes will crack.
Massachusetts State
Police. Which is why you want to leave your water on with at least a slow drip.
Just a tiny, tiny little drip. Massachusetts State Police will be conducting a sobriety checkpoint in Hampden County this Friday to prevent driving under the influence.
Do you know exactly where this is going to happen?
Yeah, probably in the 4 locations they usually do it. And according to Mass State Police Superintendent Colonel Jeffrey Noble, the sobriety checkpoint will be implemented on public ways in Hampden County between Friday, June 27th and Saturday, June 28th. The checkpoints are conducted by state police to educate the public and raise awareness of the importance of identifying and removing motorists operating under the influence of alcohol and drugs.
Oh, that's why they do this.
They have
purely for educational purposes. And it's not to just, arrest people who have been drinking.
They should do a one-stop shop there. All right, listen, if you're under the influence, you got to stay in this lane. If you want a CDL license, go see that guy over there. If you have a leaky balloon knot, there's porta potties to the side. And what if you have no ass? If you got no ass, you can go right through.
Yeah, but she's got that Fall River accent though.
Yeah.
but nice sleeves.
I got IBS and I'm about to crap my pants.
Wicked hard.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a leaky balloon knot. Let her through. Let her go.
I'm not frisking it down there.
I find it funny, with all the things that the state police have been involved in,
right,
in the last 10 years, and that's just being generous to say the last 10 years, because
it could have been much longer than that.
It could have been a lot longer than that, but I wonder if they charge overtime. Wonder if they.
Oh, sure. This is
This is an overtime. It's done by a grant. No taxpayer is paying for it.
Right.
Isn't a grant funded by the taxpayer?
Nevertheless, we're here to educate.
All right.
What your rights are after you've been arrested.
All right. Tie up your leaky balloon knots and get the hell out of here.
Well, that means be staying off of Page Boulevard, Columbus Avenue, one of the other ones that are pretty...
I don't know. You know what? I mean, I guess the easy way is to just not drink and drive. But
well, Steve,
as Sam Kinison once said, how the hell are you supposed to get home?
What kind of fantasy world are you living in?
Right.
Where there's no drunk drivers on the road.
You're having a bad day when it involves a rescue crew pulling you out of a chimney and a bill for $10,000 in damages. Firefighters in Bristol, Connecticut, had to rescue a man who got stuck in the chimney of a pavilion at Rockwell Park over the weekend. The man was apparently trying to rescue his dog, who'd been locked inside. According to reports, the park's restrooms were in the building, and the doors automatically lock at 10 p.m. every night. It's unclear how the dog became trapped inside, but it's possible it was just bad timing. When the doors lock, they can still be open from the inside, but a dog wouldn't be able to do that. So maybe the man was inside too around 10 o'clock and the doors closed before the dog got out. I don't know what happened, but the guy took matters into his own hands, tried to break into the building through the chimney. Then he got stuck, and firefighters had to remove parts of the chimney and the building to get him out. All in all, it cost about $10,000 worth of damage. The man was arrested and charged with burglary, trespassing, and criminal mischief. It's unclear how long he was in the chimney, but he was not injured. The dog is okay, too.
Oh my! First of all, I know you can be claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I'm not normally claustrophobic, but I've had moments where a little bit of panic sets in when that happens. You imagine being stuck in a chimney. Now, I don't know if you're going face first or feet down. I don't know, but if you're stuck in a chimney, you're stuck, man. That's. You got to hope to God someone can hear your screams.
This sounds like he was trying to break into the place. I'm just saying, because why wouldn't you just call the police? Okay, fine. You're in the park after dark. You go into the bathroom. You leave the bathroom. The door automatically locks. The dog's stuck inside.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing anything wrong, other than maybe a trespassing charge, which is they probably tell you to just get the hell out of there. Why wouldn't you just call and say, hey, my dog's locked inside of this park bathroom. Can you come help me?
Well, because that would make sense. By the way, when you're stuck in a chimney, you can't really reach your phone.
Why would you go to the length of trying to get down a chimney? It seems that's why these facts aren't adding up. Why this guy was stuck in the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was really rescuing the dog, but that's just my opinion. You'll do anything for your family member. And I'm like, yes, I'd call the police and have them take care of it.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'd do.
I don't know. People are weird, man.
They are. Going down a chimney?
Yeah, you're not Santa.
Even Santa. Even Santa's a little portly to go down most most chimneys.
Even Santa has a crowbar that could pop a door lock open if he needed to.
Listen to this. How many, like 5 billion people in the world?
Yeah.
That's 5 billion B&Es.
Yeah, you're going to have burglary tools with you when you're on that sleigh.
Yeah, right. You'll be watching that Ring camera all night long.
This guy, he's not equipped for that kind of magic.
No, he's not. Unless there are 10 tiny reindeer up on the roof.
Well,
egging them on.
I got one of those Slim Jims where you can pop the car door open. That's what Santa wanted for Christmas. A lockpick.
Instead, he got socks.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with that?
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 95. A heat advisory is still in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. But then tomorrow, sunny and a high of 71 and a low of 60. Weird, man. It's 76 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's just about 6:54, and the Doors with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
Sunny and hot today with a high of 95. Not as hot as yesterday, but it's still a heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow, sunny and a high of 71. It is 76 right now in downtown Springfield.
Don't spend another summer just sitting around your backyard with that lousy bottle of wine you got from the package store. Spend your summer at the vineyards with the Rock 102 Wine Passport. You enjoy the taste of some of the area's best vineyards in the area, including Mineral Hills Winery, White House and Vineyard, and Hardwick Vineyard and Winery. The Rock 102 Wine Passport gets you $150 in gift certificates for just $75. That's like half off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you love wine, the best way to drink wine is to let it breathe and pay half the amount it's worth.
Oh yeah, it's like buying Bartles and James. No, it's buying bougie wine at Bartles and James prices.
Perfect idea.
There you go.
Actually, it's like buying Bartles and James, but just getting rid of James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just love the Bartle.
Get yours today at rock102.com. It's part of the Classic Rock Summer from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
You ever say one Mississippi, two Mississippi? You ever try to do that thing?
Yeah, no, I've done that.
Someone on social media asked non-Americans, what is your one Mississippi, two Mississippi, or 1,000, 2 1,000? You know, because other countries do this.
What about like my mother, your mother hanging out the clothes?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what do they do? In Danish, they have 1 case of beer, 2 cases of beer. I'm assuming that's not for kids playing hide and seek.
Probably not, no.
In Scotland, they have 1 elephant, 2 elephant. Even though elephants are rarely seen roaming through the local glens and rolling heather.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
In Quebec, they say 1 hippopotamus, 2 hippopotamus. And another Canadian said 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat. All right?
Yeah, but that's speeding it up. That's like 1 less, like 2 less syllables.
Right.
That's not fair. You're not giving anybody a heads up or a head start with that.
Get this, in China, they do 1 2 3 4, 2 2 3 4, 3 2 3 4, and so on. That's confusing.
It's way too confusing.
Well, maybe not to them. I mean, if they are very good at numbers and study numbers better than we do.
Well, that's an unfounded stereotype, Steve.
It's not even a stereotype. It's just an educational system fact. You know, we don't teach kids the way other countries teach kids.
What are you talking about? You get the whole new math program. It's been all the rage.
What new math program?
What do they call it? The new math. When I was a kid, it was called the new math.
Common Core?
Common Core.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't
Kids
know.
love the Common Core. And adults love watching their kids learn the Common Core.
In Brazil, they have idozino, dois idozino, tres idozino. Yeah.
I like that.
Which is 1 indigenous toddler, 2 indigenous toddler. That's what it translates to. In India, they say tick, tick 1, tick, tick 2.
All right. Well, I mean, okay, it's a language
In
thing.
Australia,
really.
they say 1 cat and a dog, 2 cat and a dog. But another Australian said they never heard of this in their entire life. This person is lying. In Mexico, they say uno, dos, tres, but a brief pause in between each one.
See, but if you're giving somebody a head start, you need to have it spaced out properly. That's why, like, Mississippi makes sense.
Right. Someone said, I grew up in Mississippi, and as a child, I just assumed other people used whatever state they lived in. Like 1 Massachusetts, 2 Massachusetts.
Right,
or whatever.
but Utah gets the short shrift.
Someone from South Africa said it was one Mississippi, but none of us knew what Mississippi was. Well, that's the influence of the English language,
Right.
You know, if somebody says something to you, like we probably say things. I can't even think of an example off the top of my head that we say things that we don't even understand what they mean.
Well, there are some sayings out there that have been around for generations.
Yeah.
That unfortunately have like a checkered derivation, many of which can be seen as culturally insensitive to some significant population groups. I'm not going to say what some of those are, but I'm sure you can probably figure some of them out.
But you don't know that until it's pointed out.
A lot of times that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of the things that my grandparents used to say, innocently. It wasn't really meant with hate and prejudice involved. It's just they didn't think about it.
My great-grandfather was like a school board member, and he has a quote. There's a newspaper article. I have a newspaper article where he says something that I'm like, you could say that back then, and nobody blinked an eye. Like you're talking about like the 1920s.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There were like children's storybooks from the 1920s.
Yeah.
That used blatant racial epithets to tell a story.
Wow.
And it was like, I remember finding one of these in my ex mother-in-law's attic.
Yeah.
And this book was in there. It's just like thumbing through it, and I couldn't believe what the hell I was reading. It's like, what? That's in there in the 20s? It was brutal.
Yeah, you wash your mouth out with soap after using that.
That book would have been canceled years ago.
Well, thank God we didn't have cancel culture back in the 1920s,
Thank
right?
goodness. It's 7 o'clock with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, your grilling destination. Weber, Big Green Egg, Uni Pizza Ovens, and Traeger wood-fired grills.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, you don't need to listen to a Bax and NAGLE Open Line Friday brought to you by Linton Septic to know the world is full of certifiable card-carrying dinks. You kidding me? Society is crawling with them. Sadly, some of the biggest dinks in the world are not even aware they're being dinks. Most dinks don't. In most cases, the biggest case of quantifiable dinkage are often misunderstood to be nothing more than a failed attempt to be hilarious, when in fact, they are not. For example, yesterday in Chicago, the White Sox hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, granted, it's not the most exciting series on the Major League schedule this year. However, follow me as I present the following example of stereotypical dinkage. During this game, Arizona second baseman Ketel Marte was up at the plate after hitting a solo home run early in the first inning. During this next at-bat, an unidentified White Sox fan began yelling insults towards Marte in an effort to distract his efforts in potentially hitting another home run, which he did not do. Specifically, the fan decided to make hurtful and derogatory comments about Ketel Marte's mother. Ketel Marte's mother died in a car accident in the Dominican Republic 8 years ago. And as you might expect, the results of that comment left poor Ketel Marte in tears. Now, I don't know exactly what this blistering a-hole said about Ketel Marte's mother, but it was hurtful enough for the guy to get ejected by security. He might also receive a lifetime ban from attending games in the future. My question is this. What sort of gutless, ground-slithering lowlife feels compelled to rip into another guy's mother? And what sort of scum-sucking maggot rails into a guy's mother after she's been killed in a tragic accident in 2017? I'll tell you who. This is the act of a dink. A guy who believes that he is somehow entitled to take cheap shots at a guy because in his mind, it's hilarious. Well, Mr. Dink, your team not only lost for the 55th time this season, you just lost your seat, maybe even permanently. If there was anybody worthy of public ridicule, it would be you. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, the best thing about your kitchen isn't even in the kitchen. It's the grill where the action is. Go to Rocky's, get the grill you really want. You're going to use it all the time. Get a Weber, a Traeger, a pizza oven, or a griddle. All the grills, all the gear, all the time. At your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:14, and Ozzy with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
It is going to be sunny and hot again today. A heat advisory is still in effect until 7 p.m. tonight, although not as hot as yesterday. High at 95. Tomorrow, things are cooling off with a high of only 71. It is 76 right now in downtown Springfield. It's warmer now at 7:15 in the morning than it will be for the high tomorrow.
I mean, it's already better today than it was yesterday. I mean, this morning I took the dog out before I left to go to work today. The day before, I let him out at like 3:45, and I opened up the door to the deck, and it was like getting slapped in the face with a hot frying pan.
Yeah.
Today it was like so much lighter. Like the air was just different today than it was yesterday. I don't know if it's gonna stay that way, but it was already better.
It was already getting better like around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. You could feel it kind of lifting a little bit. It wasn't as oppressive as it had been the Monday and most of the day yesterday up until the afternoon. So, hey, you know what? Living in New England, it's like Mother Nature gaslighting you. Like tomorrow it'll be like, I never said it was summer.
Yeah.
That's just you being sensitive.
I never said it was going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I never said you could breathe.
I don't really have much of anything to offer you this morning. I don't know if that's just
well, my expectations are pretty low, frankly.
Sleep divorce. You ever hear of that term?
Sleep divorce? No.
It's where people you opt to sleep. You're married, but you opt to sleep in different beds for one reason or another, and it has nothing to do with you despise this person.
Right.
It's that one of you snores. You can't get a good night's sleep.
One of you has got the Jimmy leg.
Yeah, something like that. Or you just need some more alone time.
Yeah.
A similar term is going viral now, screen divorce. You do the same thing, but with streaming.
So you're watching different things at the same time?
Yeah, a writer for The Guardian just did a big op-ed about it. Screen divorce is when you don't have to agree on what to watch. You both watch whatever you want on separate screens.
Well, I mean, I think it depends entirely upon the situation. I know people who have separate rooms and they're still very happily married.
Yeah.
And I know people that watch different shows in different rooms and they get along just fine.
Well, you can watch in different rooms or in the same room as if one of you wears headphones. The idea is for you to avoid the situation where one person has to suffer through a show they don't actually like. But isn't that the whole point of watching a show, is finding something you both have common interest in?
Sure.
You both watch it at the same time?
Of course. But there are times when you'll be, watching a show that they desperately want to watch that you don't give a rip about.
Yeah.
But, because you care for this person, you're willing to make sacrifices. I know sometimes I do, and I'm sure my wife does it for me as well. I just, don't really have much that I'm dying to watch.
Yeah. I used to ruin shows for my wife when she would, because we'd watch these shows together.
Right.
This was before we had kids, too. Once kids came along, there was no, sitting down and sharing a series of something.
Sure.
Just because, time doesn't allow that. But beforehand, we were watching those towing shows. I've told you this story before, how I called out, this whole thing is fake. This can't be real. This guy who was Operation Repo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, one episode hit me that said, there's no way this can be real. Why would somebody agree to sign a waiver, one of their most vulnerable moments where you're getting your sports car repossessed because you don't have the money to do it? Mm-hmm. And this woman was going like crazy about it. And then I did some rabbit hole digging, or going down the rabbit hole, and figuring out that, these shows are staged. They might be based on real situations.
But these are not real people. They're paid actors.
But it's TV, and you can't have... Sometimes realness is boring. So you have to stage it. And sure enough, I pointed this out, and it was kind of ruin it. I kind of ruin a lot of things for people. I was talking to some guy not too long ago about that War of the Roses
the old radio gag?
The old radio gag that's now has moved its way to TikTok. And you got these morning radio shows that are showing the audio. They're showing the DJs in the studio talking to these people on the phone about some wild, crazy affair thing going on.
There's always some guy in the background laughing hysterically, even though it's not funny at all.
Somebody sending, let's find out who he wants to send his free flowers to, and then they call the guy, and the guy doesn't say the wife, he says the girlfriend, and whoa! And I told this guy, I'm like, this is all fake, This is all made up. It's radio. It's entertainment. And you should have seen the look on this guy's face. Like
It's funny you bring this up because this happened for a while. My wife was watching these videos on the TikToks, and she was like, you could tell she's getting drawn into it.
Yeah,
she's a teacher. She's not paying attention to what goes on the radio.
Right.
You and I know that it's all fakery. It's all illegal to record somebody without their consent.
And that's kind of the big piece to it.
Yeah.
And there had been a time where radio DJs were making actual prank phone calls, and then somebody got sued. Or somebody, something nefarious happened, and then the whole industry was like, that's it, no more prank phone calls because this is too much of a liability.
But if you pay for the service, we will phony up a phone call for you with all the voice parts, so you can put your voice parts on top of those voice parts and makes it sound exactly like you just did it.
I wish I was that guy that came up with that idea. Because I could totally do it.
Same thing with some celebrity interviews. Now, we don't do this, but a lot of shows will do this where Like, for example, pick, Ariana Grande is doing interviews. Well, she's doing one interview, but it's being played in multiple cities because all the voice parts and her answers have been isolated. So you add your phony questions on it, and it sounds like all of a sudden I'm talking to Ariana Grande.
Oh, what's his name used to do that? He used to do it for himself. Coombs.
Yes.
He used to edit the interview so tightly that it was like you're skipping out on questions we asked this person in order to. I don't know if he was using it somewhere else. I think he was airing it on the other radio station that we have here to modify it so it reflected Laser 99.3.
Yes.
Because, when it sucks here, it's certainly going to suck over there.
Certainly, when you've taken a 10-minute interview and have reduced it down to 2.
Right. So there's a lot of that going on, and people don't realize that. This is why open lines is either a hit or a miss.
Because it's real.
Because that's real. Those are real people calling into. I don't know about that. That Mark from West Springfield, he was the realest one of them all.
Oh, yeah, him.
Or
Dad Joke Dave.
Or Louis the Anti-Joke Guy.
I'd love to have those guys call in back.
Yeah. But for the most part, it is real. It's real people. It's people who are listening right now. They call in and
that's why we have to establish rules, because without the rules, you people can't be left alone.
But it's also the reason why it can be spectacular.
Or a spectacular disaster.
Right. Or it can be garbage, like it is most of the time, which is why it's sponsored by a septic company. But yeah, this guy was completely devastated that I ruined this whole, pulled the curtain back and revealed the old man playing with all the controls.
Probably felt like he'd been lied to his entire life.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to tell you.
It's entertainment. You can't, listen, it can't always be, for the most part, we don't really make a whole lot of stuff. I mean, we make up scenarios with newscasts and for comedy purposes. But for the most part, it's like this is just raw stuff that we're talking about here.
That's all we do.
But we don't do prank phony phone calls and things like that.
It's and so if you ask us to do it, the answer will be no.
Who's the phony phone prank call of today?
It's 7. Could you do a phony phone call to my boyfriend? No,
we can't do that. It's
never.
Illegal. Yeah.
7:24 on Rock 102.
Don't spend another
7:31 with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Still a heat advisory going to be in effect until 7 o'clock tonight, but not nearly as hot as it was Monday and Tuesday. But tomorrow, sunny and a high of 71. You can't beat that. It's going to be like a nice fall day out there. And then back to probably extreme heat within a week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to turn up the heat.
That is the conundrum of living in New England. You never know when you're going to be. We're like swingers. We're temperature swingers. You see the upside down pineapple on the barometer.
Yeah,
you know that it's time to go back, baby.
That's exactly right.
The pedestrian killed in a hit-and-run crash on Monday in Springfield has been identified. According to Springfield Police Department spokesman Ryan Walsh, officers were called to the 100 block of Bowles Street for a report of a single-vehicle crash involving a pedestrian. The victim, an adult woman, was brought to Bay State Medical Center to be treated for her injuries. She died while at the hospital. On Tuesday, Walsh stated that the vehicle involved, which they have shared pictures of, was found in the Forest Park neighborhood. However, no arrests have been made at this time. The Hamden DA's office shared on Tuesday that the victim has been identified as 57-year-old Annabelle Ruffino of Springfield and offered their condolences to Miss Ruffino's loved ones. So no other updates on that just yet. If you're out in Westfield, after a 2-year effort, the city council took a final vote on allowing backyard chickens by right in residential zones, shooting it down with 5 in favor and 7 opposed.
So you can't have chickens in your backyard anymore?
Nope. Nick Morganelli, who has been shepherding. Oh, he's like a shepherd.
He is, very much so.
The amended ordinance through the city council said the ordinance had been amended again to allow 6 hens, no roosters in lots of 7,500 square feet, 9 hens in lots of 20,000 square feet, and 12 hens in 40,000 square feet. Well, who's having sex with the hen?
They're all having sex with the hen.
That's perverse. He said the lot lines, which called for coops to be 15 feet away from property lines and 30 feet away from any structures, remained the same. However, Morganelli said if councilors did not feel the setbacks were enough, he would entertain amendments. He then deferred to Councilor Karen Fannion, chair of Zoning, Planning, and Development, who reported the committee had voted 2-1 in favor of the amended ordinance. Fannion has said she is voting against the ordinance. Councilor Ralph Figge, getting figgy with it.
Yes.
Another proponent of the ordinance who has made the original attempt to allow for backyard chickens 2 years ago said he'd like that change that said anybody can go for a special permit if they want more chickens. He said he also liked the requirement that chickens would have to be registered with the animal control officer, which then gives the officer permission to inspect the coop. Nice job. Thank you for all your work, he said. You know what they need to do? They need to start cracking down on the cats walking around Westfield. Here you are ready to tag chickens like they're, you find out who they belong to.
A lot of strays out there?
A lot of strays out there. A lot of stray pussy cats walking around Westfield.
You know, you don't want that because that causes problems all on its own.
Right.
But, chicken raising actually is something that has been a long thing in my family.
Really?
My grandfather used to show chickens at the Big E, in fact. Had award-winning hens and the male version of a hen, a rooster.
A cock-a-doodle-doo.
A cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
You will, yes. And he won ribbons, prizes at the Big E. And many years later, my sister has a chicken coop. She loves the eggs.
Okay.
So I understand the desire to have chickens in your backyard. I mean, I would never do it, but I can understand the sheer delight of having farm fresh eggs every single day on the table.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's a
because you got to
huge
clean the thing. Like, think about it. They're animals going to the bathroom anywhere they want to.
Yeah,
in that, even though you had them in an area, and you still got to clean it out.
You got to clean it every day.
Yeah, because you don't want to get dirty eggs.
Well, you don't want diseased chickens,
right?
Otherwise, you have funky eggs, and you don't want that. So it's a lot of work. But I mean, if you have the wherewithal to take care of it, then and then it's a perfectly fine thing to do.
You don't want the hens from Mingles laying eggs. Ugh. Oh, Oh, I got a little bit of the appleberry two-step here, and I just laid some farm fresh eggs.
I'm poaching a few right now, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Anyway, City Councilor Cindy Harris said she understood the passengers on both sides, but said in the last few meetings on the topic, 3 ward councilors said they were opposed to the new ordinance. She asked for the opinion of Ward 5 councilor, Council President John Beltrandi. I have a problem with by right, he said. Ward 3 councilor Bridget Matthews-Kane, who said she's generally pro-chicken. Now she's anti-chicken. And said she had a problem. She had a problem with the minimum lot size of 7,500 square feet. She said she had been looking around for some of the denser sections in her ward. If everybody gets chickens, that'll be way too many chickens. But not everybody is going to get chickens. See, this is the thing that people, you know, they feel like it's going to be like this wild west of chickens,
Right.
running around Westfield.
Well, how many people are live in the city of Westfield?
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me see. Let me look this up. So the population of Westfield is about 40,000 people.
Okay.
Chances are you're probably not going to have much more than, say, 20, 25 people with chickens
Right.
in Westfield. Is this really a big fight? Really? Are you going to have... It's not like
They
you're going
like
to have...
to make it a big fight.
You're not going to have 40,000 people in Westfield put up 40,000 chicken coops around town. There's just not... most of the lots in town are not big enough to support all of that chicken coop. And you know what? You can't eat that many eggs. It's not good for the cholesterol.
Right. You know, I think they're worried about the big cock-a-doodle boom that's going to be happening.
Yeah, right. Well, people
All of a sudden, you got all these cock-a-doodle booms around here, just walking freely throughout the streets.
The thing is,
unsupervised.
They don't really need roosters to get eggs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are naturally flowing eggs. These are not fertilized eggs.
No, but we want the rooster around as a snack. Something to look at. That's how we produce these eggs. Sometimes we just think about it.
I don't mean to speak out of turn, but sometimes the bigger the rooster, the better.
The bigger the egg.
Yeah,
that
right.
Comes out. Cock-a-doodle boom. Here we go.
The bigger the rooster, the bigger the pullet.
Fanyon, who represents Ward 1, said when she first became a counselor, she had a bad experience with chickens and rats, and a dog died. That's like bringing your worst story to the table. Oh, yeah? Well, you know what? The last time I have PTSD from chicken.
And my dog died.
I just feel that people who have a home in residential A are not looking to have chickens in their backyards. I don't think it's fair to have neighbors having to pit one against each other. You may like your neighbor, but not like chickens, and therefore you're not supporting your neighbor, she said, adding that she thinks it'll cause more trouble than it's worth. Addressing the question of food insecurity, she said she doesn't think having backyard chickens will solve the problem. I agree that there's food insecurity in Westfield. She said just put a list together of all the food pantries and meal programs, including the Boys and Girls Club sponsoring lunches all summer long for children at playgrounds and locations all across the city. Yeah, eggs get old after a while.
You got to eat them right away.
Yeah, food insecurity aside, they're normal people. It's not like you can just feed them one commodity. It's not the Soylent Green of Westfield.
Yeah, what would happen if all of a sudden...
What are we having again today, Mom? Scrambled eggs. Again.
I mean, are they going to have like the same type of disruption in the city council if people want to like make their own toast?
Yeah.
You can't have the chicken. You can't have eggs without toast. So now everyone's baking bread in Westfield. We can't have this kind of outrage here.
This is like one of those things that this article is very long, and you can imagine that this meeting needlessly went on for way longer than it should have.
Probably.
Because there's always somebody who wants to drag something out or has another... It's like a hen house. That city council meeting was like a hen house.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the break room here at Rock 102.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go upstairs in that kitchen. Oh, man. When those ladies get talking.
Like click, 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 click.
All right. Maybe we should move on to something else now that we spent all our times on the cockadoodle do's.
Yes.
And the cockadoodle don'ts of things that you should be doing with chickens.
Why do you think they call it the whip steady?
Well, it's one of those
'Cause
fantasies that I've had my entire life.
I've whipped a few of those things in my time.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. What's your most trusted brand at your age? What's the one thing you got to go to? You will not buy any other brand of whatever item you're buying.
I don't really know if I've got a lot of brand loyalty to anything.
There's a new report out on America's most trusted brands, and it weighed reputations of thousands of brands, including restaurants, groceries, household products, services, and entertainment. For Gen Z, the most trusted brand is YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Followed by Band-Aid, Dawn dish soap, Costco, and Google. Others ranked highly include Nike, Ben & Jerry's, Gatorade, Nintendo, Netflix, PlayStation, and Spotify. For millennials, the most trusted brand is Google, followed by PayPal, YouTube, dish soap, and the USPS. The United States Postal Service. Others that ranked highly are Lysol, Visa, Hershey's, Dove, Tide, Lego, and the Weather Channel.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of like YouTube or Google as brand things, but they are really.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time on the YouTubes and on the Googles.
I had a comedian who asked me because I did a show for him, and he's like, "Do you have Zelle?" I'm like, "No, I'm an adult." Like Venmo has become the go-to like pay app,
Right.
But then there's those other pay apps out there that are a little shady. You know what I mean?
And Zelle is one of them for you?
Zelle is like one of these things where you have to tie your bank account information to something, and I'm not comfortable doing that.
Understood.
You know, I'd rather a card. At least a card you can cancel. If some fraud started to happen on the card, you can cancel the card and get a new card. When somebody has your bank account information. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing with all that. I mean, if you're paying your bills with Zelle, I don't know if that's unhackable.
For Gen X, the most trusted brand is Dawn dish soap.
It does take grease out of your way.
Followed by Oral-B, Hershey's, Band-Aid, and Duracell. Duracell. I'd go with Energizer.
You would?
Yeah. Others that ranked highly include Heinz, Tylenol, Home Depot, Clorox, Betty Crocker, and M&M's. And for boomers, the most trusted brand is Kleenex.
It's hard to argue with that.
When I was a boy, I put Mr. Kleenex's kid through college. I used so many of them.
And I used them only because there was no brand of sock that was preferred.
Right now, I'm still paying the electric bill at Kleenex. Followed by Dawn dish soap, UPS, Tylenol, and Band-Aid. Others that ranked highly include Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Rock Solid Service. Good people.
Rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware.
Colgate, Philadelphia Cream Cheese, Bounty, and Hefty. And there are some similarities on those lists as for differences. So, I don't know. The brand Gen Zers trust the most compared to other adults is TikTok. This is why we have a problem in this country. Millennials trust...
This is why society is falling apart.
Trust the brand Bitcoin.
Everything about Bitcoin I don't trust. I don't trust any of it.
Campbell's Soup is what Gen Xers trust the most compared to other adults.
Did kind of grow up on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's not the same. The ingredients are different. You can definitely tell that. I don't know if or maybe my taste buds have changed. I noticed that, like, I used a tomato soup once, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
The sweetness in it. I couldn't believe how much sugar was in.
It's a ton.
Yeah. It's a real ton. The brand boomers trust the most compared to others is Procter & Gamble.
again, that if you grew up in that era, that was a big one.
Amusingly, boomers' next highest compared to other adults are Lazy Boy, Consumer Reports.
That is, nothing. No offense to like a Mike Quincy at all. I mean, Consumer Reports is a great magazine,
right?
But it does seem to be the kind of magazine that an older generation, like my generation and higher, tends to focus on. I want good consumer information.
Corningware. Yeah,
that's another one.
Of Corningware. And Bayer aspirin.
See, I usually use Anacin.
Anacin? Do they even make that anymore? What was it was Nuprin. Little, yellow, different. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be sunny and hot. Not as hot as it was the last couple of days, but a heat advisory is still in effect nonetheless until 7 o'clock tonight and a high of 95. Tomorrow, sunny and bright with a high of only 72. It is 82 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
It's the 4th of July.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:54. And Boston with Bax and NAGLE and Rock 102.
Another heat advisory in effect today until 7 o'clock. Not as hot as it was yesterday, but still warm with a high of 95. Tomorrow, things are cooling off with a high of 72. It is 82 right now in downtown Springfield.
Rock 102 presents the Classic Rock Summer now through Labor Day. Listen to Rock 102 all summer long on details how you can grab your share of the summer stash of prizes. We're giving away $25 gift cards to Stored Tavern all summer long, every weekday through Labor Day. And if you want to win, you just go to rock102.com and then listen to Pat Kelly every weekday afternoon. That's the hard part. And then you could win a gift card to Stored Tavern. The Classic Rock Summer brought to you by Leah Auto Group and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
What to talk about here?
I know that everybody has been really bugged out about the heat.
Yeah.
And I know like tomorrow is going to be a break in it.
Yeah.
But it's not even July quite yet. So don't get too used to anything here. You know what I mean? It's like, some people say, oh, now I'm going to go out and then now the summer can actually begin now that it's not as hot as it was.
No,
dudes, it's like you got to be realistic about all this stuff.
It could either be last summer was hot. Like as soon as I think it was like July, the end of July.
Yeah.
Then we had no rain until like October. I think it lasted. Remember we had all the high fire thing and all that stuff, whatever, the red flag warnings and all that stuff.
And now you've had rain almost every weekend.
Yeah.
You see, it's like...
But that can stop. That can stop tomorrow.
It's just so hard to keep up with it. You know what I mean? It's so hard.
Maybe you shouldn't be keeping up with it.
I know, but like there are some people like Liam Murphy, for example, who's going to give us a forecast in about a half an hour.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exasperating for everybody who just wants it to change and be nice for a while. It can never be nice for too long. You start getting spoiled if that's the case.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want that.
No, you want to always be on your toes. That it could change in a moment's notice.
What makes people happy is being right on the precipice of total misery.
Yes. Filled with anxiety.
Yes.
People love that.
I mean, not fully in it yet,
right.
But just knowing that it could be there at any moment.
Yeah, just enough to let you know that the universe could turn around and punch you right in the nads when it's ready.
If things were wonderful all the time, Steve, you'd take it for granted. And then, when things got bad, then it would really hurt. But if you're always on that line, be positive, but know that at any point something could just swipe you in the face and knock you off that little balance beam of either happiness or misery. That's the way to really stay in tune to everything.
Now, that's the ideology of a child who is of two parents who were therapists.
See?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, see?
Well, that'd be, sadly, we're all out of time, but that'd be $20, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Right, there you go.
It's 7:57 at Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, your grilling destination. Weber, Big Green Egg, Uni Pizza Ovens, and Traeger wood-fired grills.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, when the Celtics sent Drew Holiday to the Portland Trailblazers this week in exchange for Anthony Simons and 2 second-round draft picks, I thought, man, poor Drew Holiday. Being sent to Portland is like being sent to Arby's while your family's sucking down $200 steaks at Peter Luger's. The fact of the matter is, it's not a bad trade for the Celtics. They got a quality player in Simons, you get draft picks, and you unload $72 million that's left in Drew Holiday's big fat contract. All in all, probably a smart move. Yesterday, just 24 hours after punishing Drew Holiday with a trade to Portland, the Celtics traded Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal. It's a deal in which the Celtics gives up Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Hawks in exchange for Methuen native Georges Niang and another second-round pick. Now you might say, Georges who? Well, so did everybody else. The truth is that for the Porzingis deal gives the Celtics even more room under what is known as the second apron. The second apron is a measure in which teams are penalized for overspending on players in the form of a luxury tax. Porzingis was making $30 million a year with the Celtics, whereas Georges Niang was scraping by at $8.6 million a year. Of course, he's no Porzingis. Now, before you panic, keep in mind that the NBA draft is coming up, like tonight. And right now, the Celtics have the 28th pick in the first round and the second pick in the second round. It's very possible that through a series of wheeling and dealing, Brad Stevens could put together a trade that changes all of that and gets the Celtics higher up on the list or another draft pick, maybe even two. And if by chance that sort of miracle could happen tonight, then I might be more willing to overlook the otherwise idiotic notion that Georges Niang makes the Celtics a threat to win another championship. Because right now, I'm not really seeing it. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. What's the difference between a hammer drill driver and an impact driver? Well, you need to talk to Robbie at the East Lawmeadow Rockies. Good people, rock-solid service, and the power tool specialist like Robbie at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:09 and Bon Jovi with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
Going to be hot one today, but not as hot as it was the last couple of days. High at 95. Heat advisory still in effect until 7 p.m. But tomorrow, things cool off and sunny and a high of 72. It is 82 right now in downtown Springfield. I don't know about you. I don't know... how passionate have you ever been about something? So much that you would do anything.
Steve, I don't know how well you know me or if this is the first time we've ever met, but I'm not really that passionate about any one thing.
You know, as you know, last week, Karen Reed was found not guilty.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the first time hearing about it.
I was going to say, have you heard of this before? Now, whatever side you stand on, this isn't really about the logistics of the case, because that's not what I want to get into. I want to talk about the behavior of people in general.
Sure.
John O'Keefe's family says they've continued to be harassed by Karen Reed supporters ever since her acquittal last week on second-degree murder and manslaughter while under the influence. This is from TMZ. Sources close to the O'Keefe family tell TMZ Reed supporters have been driving by the family's home in Canton, where John's parents and the niece and nephew he was raising still live, snapping photos, leaving things at the door, and in one case even busting out into a celebratory dance. And they have this video. It says, as you can see, the woman was caught on security footage dancing in the street right outside of the O'Keefe home early Monday morning. Bold move, to say the least. The family just wants to be left alone, but since everyone knows where they live, it's been nonstop. People are showing up, dropping stuff at the door, and making a tough situation even worse. Where TMZ is told the family's been calling the police, but police ignoring the no trespassing signs are usually long gone by the time the actual police show up. They're told a neighbor of O'Keefe's filed a police report. You got other people involved in this too. This isn't just the ones that you feel are lying about something. Filed a police report today regarding the dancing woman. They reached out to the Canton PD to confirm, but so far no word back. As you know, Karen was acquitted on Wednesday on all major charges: second-degree murder, manslaughter while under the influence, and leaving the scene of an accident causing injury or death. She was only found guilty of a misdemeanor DUI, and now she's on probation for a year. And it's just like, the outcome that you wanted happened. you know what I mean? Like, if you felt so passionate about the fact that she, that she's not guilty,
Right.
and you won that, why do you feel the need to physically go to somebody's house who is the family of the victim? You're not even talking about the people being accused, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the parents who lost a son, and you're harassing them. What kind of person does that make you?
You know, I don't know if you heard the story I did at 7 o'clock on The View from the Couch. It's a story about this player for the Arizona Diamondbacks. This guy. It was hold on a second. The kid's name was Marte.
Yeah,
he's a second baseman. Hits a solo home run early in the game, and then later in the game, a fan in Chicago starts heckling this guy, and heckling about the guy's mother. This guy's mother had died in an accident in 2017, and what this guy had said, and I don't know the specifics of what comment he made to Kettle Marte, but basically the guy was so hurt by it that he started, he was in tears before leaving the field. And it's kind of similar, because what gives you the right?
Right.
What gives you the superiority to criticize someone who is grieving on any level, whether it happened in a court case or happened in the Dominican Republic, in this case where she got it killed in an automobile accident? What gives you the right to go up to somebody who is hurting and shove their nose into it as if somehow it benefits you in some way?
Yeah, and that's what I don't get. Like, what benefit is it to you to go to a murder victim's home,
right,
and dance in front of it like a neener, we got the not guilty.
Yeah.
Now what you gonna do?
Well, I'm sure you saw the video of even the first trial.
Yeah,
when you had all these big protests outside the courthouse, and the family would be going into the courthouse, and there'd be all these people getting right up into their face and yelling. It's like, you'll free Karen Reed. It's like, my son just got killed.
Right.
One, I'm not responsible for it, and two, my son was just killed. It's like people somehow feel as though that victims or families of victims are somehow not entitled to some level of gracious respect.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable to me how people can be so discompassionate in times like that.
Well, and even during the trial, Karen Reed herself had said that she didn't see the kids after that. She didn't see these kids that he was raising. That's another thing. You talk about like moral character of people. This guy, this John O'Keefe, who his sister and his brother-in-law died, or some I don't remember the exact connection, but it was family that died. They had these two kids, and then he stepped up and said, "I'm going to raise these two kids." So now these kids have not only lost their original set of parents, their biological parents, but they have lost their uncle who was raising them.
Yeah.
And granted, they're older, and they're getting, I guess, but that doesn't diminish the loss that they've suffered through the thing. And one of the parts of that trial was like the judge didn't want cameras on these kids. They didn't want, because they knew that people like this would do that, would be doing things like that. But then, a picture was tweeted right after the testimony of that niece,
right,
of Karen with the two kids. And it's like, what kind of person are you that just feels like you're so, I don't know, arrogant enough that you feel like you're so right about something that you feel the need that we can expose the identities of these kids, even though the judge, said no cameras in the courtroom that day.
Well, we see this kind of behavior all the time. And you take the Karen Reed trial out of this, because how many times have you seen just on social media? There may be a news story of some tragedy or some personal story, and somebody in a comment decides to post the most offensive thing imaginable. And it's not just because they think they're being funny. There's a sense of cruelty about it in a situation where people just completely dehumanize the people that are actually involved in this, the people who have suffered as a result of any story, and feel as though they've got the entitlement to do it. We've seen it countless times in emails, texts on the Route 10 Tire listener line at 293-1021. People who make comments about things we say or things about us personally, where you're going out of your way. Like it would be one thing for me to be critical of somebody at home, and I don't say anything. I just say it out loud or think it. It's another thing to grab my phone, go onto social media, find the comment, and then make a statement that blames me for something that had nothing to do with me or anybody else.
And there's a balance of that, because we welcome comments in order for people to be part of the conversation.
Sure.
But but what you just said about those people who take that extra time and go way out of their way to write things that are, like you said, personal, like by the way of our appearances or whatnot. How many times have you and I have felt the fat jokes over the years, but not just like, he's
a one-off. He's fat and jolly. I'm sure he can handle it.
And this is how I know I've lost weight, when people have shifted you're fat to you have a cone head. The good news is I'm 5 pounds away from being a traffic detour.
Right.
Put me in the road. And
people are always diverting traffic when they come next to you.
I'll be like one of those ones those landscaper puts behind his trailer in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
But the idea that you go out of your way, does that make people feel good? Is that what happens? Is this what's happening with these people who are doing dances in front of a victim's family's home?
I think there are some
saying,
people that,
ha, we got the not guilty verdict.
I think there is some level of human nature where there has to be winners and losers in everything. If what I believe is true has actually been proven to be true, whether it be through a trial or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the opportunity to celebrate it no matter who I offend in my celebration.
Yeah.
It's human nature. We do it all the time. On the other hand, there are plenty of people listening to this conversation saying, well, you guys do it all the time. Well, listen to what we do and listen to what we don't do. When it comes to like a news story, like we did it this morning, like we started off, just telling, cracking wise, and then you went into a story of like a local tragedy.
Yeah.
We didn't make fun of the death. We didn't make fun of the victim. We didn't make fun of anything involved in that story because we know it affects people. When we make fun of something, we may make fun of someone who has been accused. We make fun of the trial. We make fun of certain witnesses. That's different than doing a victory dance or a victory lap because our side won.
For example, yesterday we were doing that whole bit about that Peter Banco guy from Bay State. We're making fun of the situation that he's accused of doing, which was plagiarism. So we went into this whole bit about Willy Wonka and how he was the boy, and
right?
Because he was using those experiences as his own kind of thing. But that's the only thing we made fun of him for. I'm not doing personal attacks against a guy. I don't know anything about his family. I have no need to do that. There is no need to do that. It's okay to parody something that you have been accused of doing, but to go anywhere beyond that is a little, it's taken it too far.
Not to peel back the curtain or get into real specifics here, But just a few short years ago, there was a situation that happened here at the radio station that became a news story. And rather than people just saying, moving on with their lives or just accepting that, something happened that, involved other people, they went directly to us and yelled and screamed and at times when it was like, really, you're doing this now?
Yeah.
Like, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand why somebody would go out of their way to do that. And I just thought,
to be so angry about something that doesn't even involve them.
I get being angry at a situation. Could be any situation. I get it. But the people that are involved in it that may have to deal with the ramifications of that, why are they the focus of your anger? Why is that where you're putting all your the eggs in your basket? Yeah. I just never understood that. It's like going out of your way to tell somebody, hey, I think your baby's ugly. or going out of your way to say, hey, your mom, she's a little loose. I would not do that to anybody.
Whose mom are you talking about, and what's her number?
And I'll tell you off the air. I don't want to embarrass anybody.
Well, for example, one of the comments under this lady dancing outside in front of the O'Keefe's house, that's not cool. Go harass the people that actually killed him and not the man's family. No.
Don't harass anybody.
Why do you feel the need to harass somebody? Can you not put Listen, if you want to make a difference, put pressure on your political people. Change the laws. Get people involved. And if you want justice for the real killers, then you don't have to harass anybody.
Hey, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than Karen Reed, no one by name has been implicated in the death here.
Right.
So you're basing your anger on speculation that has never been proven.
Yeah.
So
harass being
them?
Gaslit by a defense team who goes, we all know who did it. We just can't say because we don't want to face a defamation suit. It's because you don't know.
But in order to avoid all that, you're going to go to their house and stage a protest?
Yeah.
Please. Don't be. These are the people who define the word dink.
That is exactly what
what we're talking about.
Well, I'm glad we had this conversation.
It's 8:24 on Rock 102.
GG Inc.'s screen printing and embroidery.
It's 8:28 with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
Liam's got the full forecast for you.
This week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Brian Sweet, the author of the book Steely Dan, Reelin' in the Years. Actually, a really interesting biography that he put out many years ago. It's finally going to go on, be released on paperback this August. It's a really interesting story about Donald Fagen and Walter Becker and how they became Steely Dan and what everything was involved in making albums like Asia and The Royal Scam and Gaucho and you name it. Really cool book. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. It's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. Tomorrow, I'll tell you who I got coming up next week. All I will say is this person started his band at Hampshire College in Amherst.
Pat Kelly.
No. Pat Kelly in a band?
He is in a band.
What's he play, that fart machine?
He plays a saxophone. You didn't know that?
No, actually, I really didn't. I don't pay that much attention to what he does.
He's been working here for 20 years, and you never knew that?
Well, first of all, Steve, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but other than when he was doing mornings for a while, he's never around when I'm around.
You know more about the fart machine that he was using on the videos than
everyone
you do
knows
about the saxophone playing.
Yeah, well, because he was blowing a tune on that thing a little too hard.
He likes to have sax.
Really?
A lot of it, too.
Is that a fact?
Yes, he does.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yes, that's not Pat Kelly that I'm talking to. It's someone completely different, and you'll find out more about that probably tomorrow.
You know, I used that joke a couple of weeks ago. My kid was in this community band thing. Remember we interviewed the conductor and all that stuff for the community band. And then we're walking back to the car at UMass, and these two, I don't know, they were members of the community band, were like making out in the parking lot. Grown adults.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I said, my daughter was like, ugh. And I go, they're going to go home and have sex together. See? It's a good dad joke.
Gratuitous sex.
Gratuitous
Yeah.
sex. Lots of sex.
Now, did your daughter understand that joke?
Yeah, she laughed.
Oh, that's good.
I was 15. I mean, they get it.
I know, but I've been telling you a while. Your kid's doing comedy on a 12th grade level.
Well, because they've grown up with a really bad comedian in the house. Like, I can make that joke a lot better.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to work
you
on
gotta
it. You'll
rework
get it. You'll get it.
There you
It's
go.
8:30 news is next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass News First Alert Forecast.
8:34 with Bax and NAGLE at Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Big Y, your family market. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Well, shucks, Baxy. Country music star Cole Swindle is set to perform at the Big E.
You ever get the feeling you've been swindled?
I've never been Cole swindled before.
That's the best kind of swindling.
Yeehaw! Country music star Cole Swindle has been announced as the latest artist to join the Big E concert lineup. Swindle, known for songs like Single Saturday Night and She Had Me at Heads, Carolina, will perform at the Big E Arena on September 14th as the Happy Hour Sad Tour.
Can't wait to go to the merch table to get myself a big Cole belt buckle about the size of a hubcap.
Tickets, which include admission to the fair on the day of the concert, will go on sale Friday, June 27th at 10 a.m.
Now, how many hogs do I have to sell in order to afford them tickets?
Well, let's see. If the ticket's $150 and one part of a hog is $26, that would mean one whole hog for one ticket to a Cole Swindle concert.
Seems like a deal couldn't pass up.
Yeah, but I want a good hog. I don't want one of them slop-eating hogs. I want one that's fed all natural organic stuff.
What kind of cowboy are you, eating organic stuff out of the dirt?
Well, I mean, it's good for gut health, probiotics, and everything else that goes into those pigs. These aren't your grandpappy's pigs where they would just eat whatever it was off the barn floor. They're eating non-GMO-free corn cob.
Hey, did I ever tell you about my celiac disease?
Yeah.
One piece of cornbread and I could explode like the Hindenburg.
Oh, man. You know, I was like Karen Reed once. I once had a leaky balloon knot in the back from all that IBS that I've been dealing with, and I gotta eat gluten-free foods now.
Hell yeah, you want to loosen up while you're punching doggies or sitting on that leather Cheerio.
Oh yeah, you put 1 cup of coffee and a Hostess cupcake in my system, and man, you better run for the hills. Because the mudslide's coming.
I sure hope that my seat at the concert's close to a porta potty, because there's going to be a whole bunch of problems unless I get that close.
Yeehaw! So Cole Swindle will be performing at the Big E this year.
That's very exciting.
I told you, my kid's been listening to a lot of this country music.
Oh my God!
It's like
is it a phase, or do you think she's going to lock into this?
I hope it's not locked in. It's just listen. People like what they like. I can't. I can only be an influence so much, you know, and I tolerate it because you know. I mean, we get in the car. Hey, can I put on some music? And we start listening to these country music songs, and they're all the same.
All of them.
The themes are the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're all talking about getting laid in the back of a pickup truck and
drinking beers,
and it's just, I don't know. It's not the same country music that I was introduced to. When you talk about Americana and folk music evolving into country music and things like that. You know, that's the kind of stuff I don't mind listening to.
I'm kind of the same way. When I was a kid, I go to my grandmother's like every Friday night, and we'd watch Hee Haw every week. We loved Hee Haw.
Hee Haw?
Hee Haw, loved it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Today's country feels like tomorrow's yacht rock to me. And it's this close to being boring tripe, just with no creativity.
Drivel.
It's drivel.
Yeah.
It's It's the most laziest music there is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I know many of you people many of you New Englanders are gonna buy your cowboy hats to go to that show because you're all ranch hands here in New England.
Get so mad about it. You stand outside of somebody's house and do a dance.
Yes.
Do
right.
the IBS dance by Cole Swindle. I can't hold my cheeks together.
I'm going to turn this 3-minute song into a minute and a half.
You know, I just want to take a few. You imagine like one of these guys stopping like a country song in the middle. All right, folks, let's get serious here for a second. You really should check out your colon health and get yourself a colonoscopy, especially if you're over the age of 45. That's when they require you to get those things because you don't want a polyp hanging out. It's like going spelunking for stalactites in the cave, like we used to do down in the old country down there and down south.
So go lasso yourself some Go Lightly and have some good bowel health.
Yeah, it doesn't taste too bad if you mix it with like white grape juice.
And the Go Lightly ain't bad either.
No, it's not. It's good stuff. But man, wait for the mudslide to hit the hills. As soon as you're got a half a gallon of that stuff in you, you're going to want to stay close to a bathroom.
If you're over the age of 50, you want an OK Corral.
Yeah. You know, this is the guy who in 40 years is going to be selling reverse mortgages. Hey, you remember me? It's your good old IBS boy, Cole Swindle. I'm here to talk to you about reversing your mortgage.
Yeah, he'll be pitching that stuff and maybe some some personal injury lawyers.
Yeah.
Have you ever been injured in an accident?
Remember,
Like fell off a tractor on the fields?
Well, you remember all those songs I was singing about Pabst Blue Ribbon and how many I used to drink? Well, now I got a prolapsed rectum that makes me not hold things in anymore. It just comes out as smooth as a PBR on a tap.
It looks like a windsock in an Oklahoma sandstorm.
Now, let's talk about vaginal mesh. Have anybody ever experienced the vaginal mesh? What is that anyway? I always see the commercials if you experience vaginal mesh.
Well, there are, as I understand it, Steve, and I have not had that procedure. It is a thing which holds all the plumbing in place so that it doesn't descend into the basement.
Like a badly packed kebab.
You could say that, sure, yes. like a shawarma that wasn't tightly wrapped.
Somebody wants to know who our favorite country music star is. Who's your favorite country music star? I mean, I like a good Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash was great.
I saw Willie Nelson in concert once.
Sure, yeah. My grandmother had 8 tracks of Willie Nelson. I would say would be probably my favorite. I actually like Willie.
Willie's got some good tunes going.
He does. He's got a tremendous guitar player. Underrated.
I saw Garth Brooks when he was new.
Really?
My mother had this. She had this obsession with the Judds.
Yeah, me too in high school.
Yeah. For different reasons.
Right.
But my mother took me to this Judds concert up in when I was in Syracuse. She took me to a Judds concert, and we sat we were like 4th row from the stage.
Wow.
Yeah, and this Garth Brooks opened for them. And
How exciting
he had
was
a
that?
song called "Friends in Low Places." Maybe you've heard of it before, huh? That's when he was just getting big, and then 6 months later, he was like top of the charts. See?
Wow, that's an amazing story.
Wasn't it an amazing story? Or was it really just something to fill the time to get us to 8:43? to finish the newscast.
Without even really doing a newscast.
Well, we talked about IBS and the tickets going on sale for the Cole Swindle concert
We
at
also
the Big E on June 28th.
We also gave a PSA about your PSI, and if you can't make magic out of that, then what can you do?
Absolutely. Now, if you've experienced any other medical issues, we could turn this into a Pfizer drug commercial.
What if I'm having a problem with the perineum from the Jardians I've been taking?
Well, that requires some, first of all, you need to talk to your doctor. And then...
to see if Jardians is right for you.
Yeah.
I don't see myself dancing in the cornfield.
Have you ever had a Jardian before?
We used to play lawn Jardians many years ago in the 70s.
Oh, I used to love long Jardians. They were so fun.
I think that's how I injured my perineum.
What about your coccyx? Did you
Yeah,
ever
well-
hurt your coccyx?
Not playing that game.
All right. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is
I
going
heard that playing cornhole.
your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be hot again, but not as hot as it has been the last couple of days, although a heat advisory is still in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow is the day, the pick of the week, if you will. Sunny and a high of 72. It's 82 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagel, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
How satisfied were you with your home heating system this past winter? If you're ready to save money on your energy bill and have nearly endless hot water.
Rock 102.
Sunny today and hot, but not as hot as it has been in the last couple of days. It's still going to be pretty warm out there. Heat advisory in effect till 7 o'clock tonight, high of 95. Tomorrow, things are nice and cool, like a nice fall day and a high of 72. It's 82 right now in downtown Springfield.
Let's see. Hey, if you ever missed any part of the Bax and NAGLE show, you can always go onto rock102.com and download the podcast. It's so simple. It's like you don't have to miss a thing. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Rock 102 app, everywhere. Everywhere you find podcast, you will find the Bax and NAGLE podcast. Brought to you by Curry Honda and Chicopee. Experience the difference in Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
There you go. Hey, pretty cool update from what happened over the weekend. We did the summer kickoff party for Rick's Place.
Yeah.
And we got a final total yesterday, just over $8,000.
Wow.
That we raised for that 3-hour event on Saturday. And again, thanks to all the sponsors and all the people that donated and whatnot. I don't have time to do the entire list, but I do appreciate everybody chipping in. And
That's
helping out.
outstanding.
Yeah,
That's really
we had
good.
a great time. And see, grief can be fun.
Yeah, there's always like a real downer part about it, but I mean, $8,000 is $8,000.
Well, when I come up to you and I'm like, hey, Bax, you want to go to a grief party?
I'm going to try to find as much other things to do as I can possibly find. I can't, Steve. I've got a emergency surgery that day.
Well, we're going to have tie-dyes and face painting at the grief party. It's a grief party with fun.
I'm not going there until Boomer from the Thunderbird shows up.
He did.
Oh, come on.
Well, by the way, big shout out to Boomer, too, because it was pretty hot on Saturday. And to be in that suit.
Whoa.
What?
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. There's a guy in that suit?
Well, no, it's a naked bird. That's just because it's a bird that never really grew feathers, so that's why they have to put the shell on.
I
outside.
see.
So
I got
he's,
it.
It's like Superman putting on his cape. But anyway, that bird,
Yes.
was probably cooking inside of that suit.
Oh, yeah. He was fully roasted by the end of the day.
Yeah, like a Kenny Rogers roaster. It's the wood that makes it. It's the polyester plastic material that makes it good.
We always talk about, guys working road construction on super hot days, like a 100-degree day, and how bad you feel for a guy who's like, standing around a hole in the road. We don't ever think about the mascot and what he has to go through. Wearing a big like foam rubber head and trying to whip up the crowd. Like for example, say you're at a Red Sox game, and you're the mascot. It gets hot at Fenway Park, and you're walking around, and you're just Wally and you're saying, hey, it's a million degrees. I'm dying in here. Let's all pretend we're still interested in the game without going into heat stroke. That's your job, dude. You can't just take off the foam rubber head and expose the man behind the curtain.
They're clearly there's safety precautions that are taken so the actual naked Thunderbird inside doesn't die. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're not gonna see a dead naked Thunderbird. It's laying on the side of the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless it's a bottle of Thunderbird.
No, I know the guy that is in the suit.
It's a guy?
Yeah, and he is an energetic fellow. He's like the Energizer Buddy. That guy will just keep going and going and going and going. But at some point, you say, ooh, this is really kind of a young man's vocation to be a mascot on a hot summer day. Thankfully, Boomer is mostly, at hockey games where it's, temperature controlled and it's cool in the Mass Mutual Center during a hockey game. But like a baseball mascot, oh, God, I don't think there is a job in the world that I feel more sympathy for than that guy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Brutal.
But yeah, you think about other people that do jobs. Some guy just mentioned on the Route 10 Tire Listen Line. How about UPS drivers roasting inside their trucks with your Amazon deliveries? UPS, any of those, I don't think any of those trucks or even the postal trucks have air conditioning in them because it's such an open air vehicle.
Yeah, right.
That I don't think they even have the ability to have air, or they might have the ability to have air conditioning, but I don't think there's air conditioning in there. That's why you see the fan up in the window.
That's why we call it a brownout.
Is that what happens?
I believe so.
Oh,
I've never been told otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very grateful that I don't have to work in that type of in those type of conditions.
No, you just have to work in conditions where you're surrounded by black mold and falling apart woodwork.
Well, listen. What did you say? The cancer. What did you say earlier?
I don't remember what it was.
Cancer. It's eventually going to get you.
It's going to get all of us.
It's going to get all of us. It's the cancer. It's going to get us all.
That maybe wasn't my most sensitive moment, but.
No, but you said it in such old man fashion that I don't think anybody's going to be really upset about it. Yeah, the cancer. That'll get. Oh, you were talking about Bobby Sherman.
Yeah, right.
Away. It's the cancer. It's eventually going to get us all.
I think that is how I said it.
Yeah.
Oh, you could listen to the podcast and find out for sure.
Yeah. Now put on some of that Cole Swindle. I need to empty my bowels.
It's 8:59 at Rock 102.
Rock 102's Classic Rock Summer is driven by Lee and Nissan. Get their exclusive 3-year test drive, including no-charge maintenance, tire rotations, car washes, and more.
It's Classic Rock. It's 9/11 and Don Henley with Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
Oh, are you ready for some fun facts, Bax?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The Bax of life.
The Bax of
The
life.
Bax of life.
All right,
number one.
Number one.
If you earn $10,000 every day, 365 days a year, from when they were building the pyramids in ancient Egypt until today, you'd only have about 4% of Elon Musk's current wealth, with his roughly $420 billion. Meanwhile, I've been raw-dogging life with a credit score that's legally classified as foreplay. Elon's launching rockets, and I'm trying to Venmo my landlord with pocket lint and broken promises.
Number two,
there's a scale of close encounters. A close encounter of the first kind is seeing a UFO. A close encounter of the third kind is seeing an alien. The fourth kind is being abducted by aliens. And the seventh kind is having sex with an alien. I thought that was close encounter of the third kind.
Oh, yeah.
Seventh kind? Man, the only probing I've had lately is from a urologist with cold hands and a zero sense of humor.
Number three.
It takes 60 tons of paint to cover the Eiffel Tower, which is the weight of about 10 elephants, which is impressive. I can barely cover my own manhood with a washcloth after a cold shower. Number 4. There's only one country in the Americas where more people speak a native language than the language of another country that colonized them. It's Paraguay, where 90% of people speak Guarani and 80% speak Spanish. Meanwhile, I'm still struggling with English. Last week, I tried dirty talking in bed and accidentally recited my expired Costco membership number. She left before I got to the nibble and spackle.
Number 5.
No one knows exactly how the Academy Awards started being called the Oscars. Just like no one knows how I earned the nickname Clam Slammer in high school. But I'll tell you this, it involved the janitor's closet and a broken beanbag chair and enough shame to keep a therapist employed for decades. And there you go, that's your fun facts for the day.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life.
The backs of
The
life.
backs of life.
It's Bax and NAGLE on Rock 102.
The Rock 102 app, where you can stream us anywhere for free. Just